morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I am here in Orlando, Florida, going on a little remote training this morning for you guys. I thought we would do kind of how do you increase retention, right? One of the biggest things in our industry is that we get paid on retention, which is really our incentive to make sure that we're giving our clients the best product possible and the absolute best fit. If you remember anything from when you got licensed eons ago, they talked a lot about something called suitability, right? And suitability is the reason why these companies are incentivizing us based on retention. So I thought we'd kind of kick it off with a little bit of a good quote here. So every contact we have with the customer influences whether or not they'll come back. We have to be great every time or we'll lose them. So saying every time you talk to them, if it's going to be on the front end, the back end, if they're having an issue with the claim, we have to make sure that we're giving them the best possible service. That's what's important. So based off of that, I'm going to go through a few quick hints today on how to increase retention. So happy Motivation Monday, everyone. If this is your first Motivation Monday, let me go through kind of what our layout is. So we start with the tip of the week. We'll go through the tip of last week as well. We'll go through what our trends are, end with our sales leaders, and of course, do the sales technique, which will be the 5 quick hints on how to increase retention. So tip of the week from the previous week, we wanted to let you know about the National General Retention Department. I did have some questions where these people contacting my clients. Why are they doing that? My client wanted to cancel. They wrote them a different policy. What's going to happen? So just letting you know that with the Retention Department, if they do with National General rewrite your client for a different policy, maybe it's a guaranteed issue policy that's terming and they rewrite it, you do remain the agent on record and you still get the absolute full commissions. This is a team of highly trained agents. Everybody on that whole team, there's about a dozen of them if you tuned in last week. They are licensed agents. So we wanted to give you an update that it is a retention department. They are there to help and you do the biggest thing over and over. You remain the agent on record. The tip of the week for this week is you will be receiving emails talking about NatGen's quoting platform, Quote NatGen, and their long-term plan to get away with it. The company, National General, did purchase the company Quote-it. What they're doing is actually integrating a quoting platform with Quote-it just for us agents that will only house the National General products. You'll start getting the links, you'll get some training materials, but I wanted to let you know that NatGen does have a YouTube channel. If you type in National General Accident and Health, you can see that here at the bottom. They do have a YouTube channel and you can jump on that to go through and take a look at what that new quoting tool is. So they have a training website out for that. They have the quoting tool as well as all of their product information is on that website. Okay, so let's take a look at what our trends are. So our trends for our leading products is for our short-term medical and our fixed benefit. We had no change there in the short term, nothing too crazy going on. And as far as it goes with the fixed benefit, we did have a healthy increase in fixed benefit. So short term, I think we were down maybe 1 or 2 policies. And in the fixed benefit, of course, we had a good increase there with VBA. VBA, I'm a huge fan of theirs. If you haven't taken a look at it, highly recommend it. For our supplements, we did have an increase in our accident sales there. So as usual, it is leading with the National Gen and the VBA. Actually, VBA is starting to overtake NatGen for accidents. We're starting to head more towards the VBA channel. For our critical illnesses, we do have a small decrease in critical illness. Nothing too scary there, leading with CBL. That being said, we are working right now with VBA and CBL, literally this morning, trying to get you guys some trainings putting on the calendar. So keep your eyes open in the next few weeks. We'll throw up some trainings for the VBA, the CBL, and some NatGen. And we had an increase in dental, leading there with Golden Rule. Let's do our sales shout-outs with our limited benefits. Almost the same as last week. So Katya, you took gold. Robert, you took silver, and Jerome, you are the upstart this week. You took third, so taking bronze. So good job, you three, leading the whole company here in the limited benefit sales. And with our short term, actually we had almost a complete upset. We had Richard Stillwell, you took first. Susan, you took second. And third, Dustin Pearson. Now, Dustin, you have been on the board consistently every week. So I just wanted to give you a shout out on that. You've been doing absolutely phenomenal. You've been between gold and bronze every week. So keep up your hard work. Now, the point behind these meetings is for you to be able to take away 1 or 2 pieces of valuable information and hopefully get it implemented this week. You're not going to have your minds blown. We're not going to completely reinvent the wheel. That's not what we do. If you're on this call, that means you are already successful. So what we'll go through is to do the 5 quick hints, hopefully get you done in about 10 minutes here, on how to increase retention. Well, first off, let's talk about why retention. So right after open enrollment, which we're still kind of in the period after open enrollment here, it's our largest area of cancel. So right away after open enrollment, people just start dropping their policies. People are active and talk about it over the holidays. We have quite a few going on that are coming up. And when people get together, be it Mother's Day, which is coming up there in May. So if you haven't done your Mother's Day presents, shameless plug, make sure to do that. With all these holidays coming up, people are active and they talk about it. People are getting out with spring, and which just makes us naturally social animals. When people talk to each other, if you explain something wrong, they're going to say, oh, that's not what I think, when they're talking to their friends about their recent purchases. And they actually tend to drop their policies, which is why we talked about that National General Retention Team. So our biggest thing is we get paid on retention. So we need to make sure clients have the insurance that they need. When they cancel, we have these evil things called chargebacks. I'm sure you don't like them as much as I don't like them. So I prefer to have my clients keep it. The other thing why you want to increase retention is A, you have a client who has the policy they need, which is our job. But B, we get something called referrals. Right now, hopefully a lot of your business is referrals. One of my top agents, I was talking with her this morning. She goes, I don't have time to purchase leads. I just don't. I actually hired somebody who her sole job is to work with all my referral clients and get them up and going because I have so many. Like, well, what's your biggest key to success? Like, what is the one thing that you would take away from that? She goes, I spend the time to make sure my clients have what they need, not what, I'm going to get the most money on. She goes, because of that, I just have clients coming in the door left and right, and I'm super busy. So, well, give me a few hints on what you do for retention. So here's a few of them from her, a few of them from me. So let's hope we can go through this. The first key, speed of service. This sounds kind of stupid, but one of the biggest complaints I find out from the retention department is a client has a question on how to do a claim, what their benefits mean when they get their policy packets. And you know what? They go, my agent never called me back, and I didn't want to stick with someone who won't connect with me. If you don't know the answer, and that is completely an appropriate response, I've never actually had this. I'm not sure what to do. I need to reach out. Let them know. What you need to do is you need to contact the client. The biggest thing is you need to contact the client and let them know when you will get back to them with the answer, be it text, be it email. If you don't want to call them and say you don't know, I completely understand. Letting them know that you got their information. The biggest thing is just letting them know that they are being heard. Clients are okay having a few day turnaround for a question. They want to know that you got their question. So with that, also with speed of service, educate yourself. So start becoming that resource. One of the biggest things I started doing is I just started learning as much about every product that I could, and all of a sudden people were sending their friends to me with questions. That's fine. I'm not going to rewrite all their friends. I know that. But a lot of the times I said, well, my agent didn't explain it. Well, what kind of policies do you have with your agent? And a lot of times they just have maybe a major med in a short term. There's a great opportunity for you to be that resource and write those supplement products. That's huge. We get paid great on supplements, and our clients love them. Supplements have some of the best feedback as being the products that clients love. Because let's be honest, when somebody gets injured and they don't have to pay either $7,350 or just $250, which would they rather do? You become the knight. You become the hero in shining armor. So the first biggest thing is if somebody gives you a question, just send them a quick text or email. I got your question. I need to look into it. I will get back to you. Or if they have a question you're able to answer, say, you know what? They start talking to you about their friends. Their friends call you. Become that resource. And like if they have a policy, you're gonna have to call your agent about that specific policy question. But if they have questions on how does a copay work, we can answer those types of things. Which repeats right back into if you want your client to keep the policy, have them know how the policy works. My quick hint for this. I always have my clients repeat back how the policy is going to work, right? I have them repeat it back. I have them tell me a story. Okay, so last year you said you broke your arm. It wound up costing you about $5,000 medical bills. That was an absolute horrid experience. So with that same situation, how is it going to work with your policy? And you sound cheesy, right? You really do sound cheesy. That's okay. What am I looking for? That the client gets it. I get paid if the client keeps it. If the client goes, oh yeah, that's perfect, whatever, just give me the policy. We know what the drop factor are on those, right? So I have them repeat it back and I have them do it in a story. If you haven't been on any of the other webinars, which there's a few of you that haven't, the biggest thing with clients is tell them a story. That's what they remember. If you give them numbers, they don't care. Have them tell the story. You can tell it too, but have them repeat it back how they use it. Working with that retention department, I reached out to them. I said, what's one of the reasons why clients cancel? They go, because they don't understand their supplements. And it was specifically supplements, right? And we know we get paid pretty good on supplements. And so I go, well, how does your team do it? Well, we have the client explain to us how the supplement works. So if I get diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, or have a stroke, I'm going to get $25,000 in a lump sum. Perfect. Yep, just wanted to make sure we're on the same page with that. So let them know how they work. Here's the other thing. One of the big cancellation issues that they have is they say clients don't understand how urgent care works. So keep in mind they're mainly not Gen. So there's that $50 urgent care benefit on short term, and they go and they don't get how, if they're in the state of Florida, they get the $50 for the doctor. They get confused thinking they're just co-pays. Keep in mind there are a few things that clients care about, and going to the doctor is one of them. Make it very clear for them to understand what happens when they use the policy, right? Next one. They said this is one of the biggest pain points is when the client actually gets the money drafted, right? So each carrier, each product is going to draft on a different day. Here's the hint. So again, talking to one of my best agents, he's a good friend of mine, he's a guy there, and I go, what do you do? His name is Joe. I go, Joe, what do you do with your clients? How do you make them actually know what gets drafted? He goes, it's simple. I ask him to grab a pen and paper, that old industry standard. He goes, grab a pen and paper and write this down. And he gives them what is it going to come out of their account. So he goes, what's the name of it? What's the dollar amount? And when? And I go, a lot of agents are actually really scared of doing that because they feel like, you're going to start dividing out the policy. He goes, well, they're going to cancel either on the front or on the back, right? If they don't understand how it works. I let them know up front. I'm transparent. He's actually the most successful agent I've ever met in my history of working in the industry. And he goes, I have them write it on their fridge. When they call me up, and you know what, they will call me up that they get this weird draft on the 25th, but their policy started on the 1st, and they're completely confused. I go, so go back to your fridge, and let's walk through this again. He goes, that way, my clients don't cancel. So have them write it on their fridge, and then follow up on the first month's draft. Be proactive. Call them when their first month's draft. Just want to let you know, you're expecting a draft, did everything come out as expected? Not everyone's going to look at their account, but for those that do, you can increase your retention easily. Okay, schedule your retention time, right? So first off, kind of an amateur move is not putting time aside every day for your follow-up for your clients. I like to block mine off personally. I have set hours that I'm doing retention. Why do I do set hours? Because my mind is already in that one mindset. I have all my systems already pulled up, and that way I don't have to, get that random call, switch everything, change everything over. So what I do is I block out a couple hours a day, follow up with my clients. What do I follow up about? Did you get your ID cards? As we talked about before, if you didn't watch that webinar on how do you do a retention schedule, that's an important one. Did you get your ID cards? Maybe those that had the non-sufficient funds, those that didn't pay. What happens? Well, a lot of times people get a new credit card or they have credit card fraud. They change their bank information and they don't remember to update everything, and it's not a big deal. Just call and saying, hey, it looks like your policy actually didn't draft this month. Is there a different card or a different bank account that we can put it on? Ridiculously easy for you to do. And it's an easy way to save. Yeah, you may lose a few clients, but you're going to lose them anyway. This way you can easily save a few clients. So do it each day. You want to keep on track, really keep on top of it. And what I recommend is I use a CRM for it. That's a personal thing that I do. You will also, with that new Gen thing that's coming out for you, they're going to give you a free CRM for all the clients that you sell their policies to. If not, track it in Excel. When did you follow up with them? If you put them in those folders, create those blocks of clients. When do you need to follow up with them? Make sure you do your follow-up every day because you'll be surprised. Once you start growing a large book of business, you will need it. And the last one here is make sure that they have the resources that they need. Okay. Got a question today, actually. I was flying on the airplane, and one of my agents down here in Florida that I was visiting texted me and goes, so my client needs to file a claim for critical illness. She had something horrible happen. Where do I go? Well, this is one thing that we talk about right away. Know where to file a claim, Right? So they have a Nat Gen product, that's easy. You go to ngah-ngic.com, here's the resource. Completely easy to do, but let them know where. Also, again, you are that resource like we talked about on the front end. When they call you with that, make sure you know how to do claims. Have a sheet or an email for each carrier with the resources. That's what one of my agents, that's what she does down here. She goes, when I sell them a policy, if it's VBA, I shoot out a VBA email. Hey, here it is. Because they're going to get all that paperwork and it doesn't make sense. And it's all these pretty pictures. Hers are just straight facts. Here's VBA. Here's the website. Here's where you go to e-sign. Here's where you're going to go if you need to file a claim. Bam, bam, bam. She goes, I do that for each carrier. I copy and paste it every time. She goes, so I just send them an email. Here it is. Here it is. So she actually sells 3 or 4 different carriers to every client every time. The reason why I'm down here is because I wanted to pick her brain, wanted to get her to know. And she goes, I just send them an email with each different carrier with the resources that they need. And I tell them to go back to that email really quick. So when they call me up with a question, great, well, let's go find that email that I sent you. If not, I'll forward it again. And let's work through it. That way she's bringing them to the resources. So when they have a question, they are hopefully a little self-sufficient. And that know who to contact with questions. You will be their first resource. That's why we're brokers. That's what we get paid to do, is to answer their questions. So you are their first resource, but, yep, that's a big but. We're their first resource, but we need to know who to contact as well. So we need to know who our resources are. So go through, create yourself your own carrier sheets, right? Who are your carrier resources? You should know, though, if you ever have questions, you can always contact agency services here at AHCP. We are here to help you with that and hopefully get you the right resources you need. So those are the big quick hints for you. I know we went quick because our goal is to get you off the phone. We want to have those power-packed 10 minutes. So biggest thing, be that resource, set aside that time, be proactive, help your clients and have them repeat it back. Let them tell that story. If you have any questions or anything you want us to make sure to cover, please email us there at training@ahcpsales.com. We do check that all day long. Or if you have questions about a carrier or carrier resources, feel free to call agency services there at the bottom at that 877-228-8773. And let's end with a pretty good one here from Patricia Fripp. It's not your customer's job to remember you. The truth, right? It's your obligation and responsibility to make sure they don't have the chance to forget you. Every time you interact with a customer, make sure to have that stellar resource and be that stellar service. Again, questions, comments, concerns, email us there at training@ahcpsales.com. And I hope everyone has a great day.